by a nose. Rocket Rob Warren wins his third straight Christmas special in a row. Congratulations, Rob, on your win here today.
Thanks, buddy. Tough race. Tough race. Gave Keith a couple of bumps, let him know where I was a little bit better than him. Not much better at all. Gave him a couple of bumps, and coming in for the white flag, I didn't even know it was a white flag. Driving off the corner, and my front bumper got hit over, and I backed off of it to see if he could gather it back up like he had done 2 or 3 other times tonight, and it was too late, man. He went flying across the infield, come around turn 2, and there he was again, coming across the track like a little boy. And out of 3 and 4, it looked like nobody wanted to win it. Coming out of 3 and 4, I know Keith wanted to. Keith had the car to win it. I just put more pressure on him than I could handle. I couldn't modulate my brake enough to slow down where he was slowing down and pick it up where I had to pick it up. But it was so bad for Keith. I mean, he didn't have that race locked up by any means, but he was darn close to cinching that one. And only because of Nelson. I don't know what happened to Nelson. Nelson went flying off into turn 3. I don't know if he caught one of those tires, but I couldn't believe how low those guys were going. And maybe that's why my car was a little slower. I was in the grass.
There was definitely some dirt flying out there, but congratulations on your third Christmas special. Second Supers win in a row, Rob.
Yeah, Burger Smokehouse ham, man. I got to thank Burger Smokehouse, and I would like to send that to Jeff Russell.
Well, I'm sure the Russell family will appreciate that. Jeff Russell still healing from the traumatic brain injury that he got in 2010 at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway bull ring in a super modified race.
Brother, 7 years goes by so fast that I can't really even fathom that it's been that long, and to be able to send the third ham. One of these days, I'll actually get a Burger Smokehouse delicious treat. But to me, I think that family deserves it way more than I do, especially after tonight's melee. So again, apologies to Keith. I don't know if he was just so low that he caught the tire and it backed him up a little bit. I got to watch a replay. That was insanity.
Yeah, it was a wild finish for sure, but congratulations, Rob. Another good win for you here, and donating the ham to Jeff Russell.
Thanks, bro.
Well, let's talk to the guy who is the teammate of the driver that almost won this, and then he turned around and almost won it. Ended up finishing second in the feature by just a nose. It was probably a nose that was loose and flying across the finish line with that wild finish. Steve Callahan, when you talk about going for broke, looks like you did it. It looks like you might have gone broke having to fix race cars tonight. How do you feel about that second place?
Well, I can't believe that I was able to get second. I was shocked with what happened, going into the last lap. I didn't really see what happened. I just saw Keith turn dead sideways. I hated for him, and he had that race, but we were all just so tight that the slightest little chuck up or whatever, there's going to be some contact. Just got him in the wrong spot, I guess. But yeah, coming in that last corner, my car was just pushing so bad. I made a change before the feature, and it didn't work out car was junk at the end, but still had a shot at it. And Rob threw it in there in 3 and 4 on the last corners there, and we went side by side. And I said I'm just gonna stand on it, and if it would have stuck, we would have won, but it didn't quite stick. And chased it all the way down the front stretch. So it's gonna be a pretty exciting replay for the fans to watch. But all in all, it was a lot of fun. Great time tonight. And just want to wish everybody, a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. And thank you to Burgers Smokehouse for supplying the ham and everything. And it's pretty cool, Rob giving it to the Russell family, because he's a stand-up guy. And, I know he didn't mean to get into Keith and talk to Keith. I'm sure I had to calm down a little bit. He'll be all right. So. But again, thanks everybody. Thanks you guys.
This Steady Steve Callahan, the second place finisher here tonight. And talk about wrecked race cars. The guy who ended up third, and he was in the fight for the win all night long. And he was really close to winning it at the end of the show, but he ended up against the wall, upside down, in a destroyed silver bullet. He probably needs a couple of Coors Light right now. How you feeling after that crash there, Kyle Clark?
It was interesting.
Kyle, what was your viewpoint at the end of that race? What happened with Keith Powell and Rob Warren, and then at the finish, you all had a real close call when Keith came back out on the track in turn 2. Can you bring us up to speed a little bit and tell us what you saw from your standpoint?
Yeah, I was following Rob, and he got into Keith. I'm not quite sure what happened. It was kind of an awkward spot to get into someone. It was before the corner. I don't know if Keith braked early. I'm not sure. But Keith darted left into the infield, and it was the white flag left. So for a split second, I actually lifted, not quite sure what was going on. And then I see to the left, I see Steve on my inside, and me, Steve, and Rob were 3 wide. And Keith came back out onto the track and was almost at a standstill in front of me. So I had to slam on the brakes and go hard left to avoid him. And Rob and Steve kept going, and I lost all my momentum. And then, of course, coming out of 4, I saw those 2 hit. Steve was going up the track, and I knew he was going to hit the wall. Rob was loose down low, and there was an opening in the middle. So I just held it wide open, and we all crossed the line extremely close in time. It was one of the closest races I've seen the top 3 in.
Kyle, after that, how do you feel about the end of this race and Airborne Speedway as a whole?
I liked this track. I was really excited to run it. I got into Rob early in the race. My brakes were hot, and just like he said about Keith, different braking spots. I was all the way to the floor, and I still hit him. It's just they were too hot. And me and Rob went to the tail, and I said, well, that's the end of this race. And then there I am fighting for the win at the line with top 2. So it definitely made it exciting. I'm glad I finished on the podium.
Congratulations there, Kyle. Great run for you. Good points night for you, too, with that new track record.
Thanks, Bob. And your smokehouse, I haven't had the turkey yet, but I can't wait to. It's great that they provide that. for these holiday races. So I just want to say thanks to them.
Certainly, Rob Warren donating that to the Jeff Russell family out of Boise, Idaho. They'll enjoy that. But let's talk to one more guy here before we leave you tonight. The dude that had a shot at the win, and it went up in smoke with about 4 laps to go, and a whole lot of smoke. It was tire smoke going around, turning 360s, dirt flying. Nelson Rodriguez, how long is it going to take you to clean the belly pans on that Super Modified? Because it looked like they got pretty dirty out there, and then got real dirty in that shootout at the end.
Well, I think it's a total loss. I got pieces hanging all over the place. It was just a tough spot, but I made a move on the inside of him. I thought I had him almost cleared, and Keith come down a little bit, hit me in the right front corner, which kind of nosed my car down into that big tire, and that was it. I was done after that. But we were having a great battle. I was having to hit the brakes pretty hard because he really was braking a lot in the corners.
Rob Warren said that he was surprised at how low you and Keith Powell were going in the corners. Both of you throwing up dirt, but then a couple of times you were a little loose coming off. Were you going to try to the outside at any point?
Yeah, I tried it a couple of times, but he was getting around the bottom really well, so I just couldn't get enough of a launch.
Well, Nelson, glad you got through the night. You've got a couple of weeks off now to work on rebuilding your virtual Super Modified.
Well, I just want to add one more thing. If it wasn't for the Burger Smokehouse ham, I would have been settled for second and just finished the race there, but I was going for that ham.
And it would have been a heck of a prize, that's for sure, for Christmas. Good run for you tonight, Nelson, and try to stay warm out there in Massachusetts.
Thank you.
Well, folks, we're going to wrap it up here tonight. What a wild finish to a really good night of racing here at Airborne Park Speedway for the Super Modified Ultimate Pavement Racing Series. Rob Warren goes away with the win, and he's going to donate that Burger Smokehouse ham to the Jeff Russell family. And you can learn a little bit more about Jeff when you go to ofracing.com, and that's Jeff's website, as he continues to heal from traumatic brain injury suffered in a crash in 2010 with the Super Modified Racing Association at the Bull Ring at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Now that ends our 2017. It's been a pretty good one so far with 13 races in. Rob Warren continues to march away from second place point man Keith Powell. Kyle Clark still in contention for the championship, as is Steve Callahan, after both of those drivers having great runs here tonight. Nelson Rodriguez comes home in 6th, and he's having a good time as well with a recent win. We will be back in action on the 2nd of January. We're going to take a 2-week break for Christmas and New Year's so that our members can spend time with their families over the holidays. We feel that that's more important than gaming or sim racing. And want to make sure you join us, because you thought tonight was wild. Wait till you see the Crazy Canucks Snowball Derby and Can-Am Challenge, our 14th edition of this race, and for the 3rd year in a row now, I believe it is. They will be racing at Mosport Speedway in Ontario, Canada. So come back, join us on Tuesday, January 2nd, 2018. Kick off the new year with some Super Modified sim racing, courtesy of SUPRS. Don't forget, in the meantime, the website will still be up.